And so here you have this organization that somehow comes in, swoops down, and makes it impossible for us to get next to them. And then what they do is they rile the parents up, and they rile the children up, and they convince the children, and this is why I need smart people like you to help me to go get these kids and save them from this lie. Because then what happens is, then they say to them, they're firing me. No, you quit. They ask you for 25 minutes. Are you serious? Like, are you really quitting your job? Like, you going to give all this up? You going to put these kids in further peril? Because they're asking you to eat with them once? In every single union contract that I've ever seen, it says that every single teacher must have what's called a duty-free lunch. Now, if you went to a private college preparatory school, you don't know what duty-free lunch is because your faculty actually ate with you. In fact, even at the college, they have what, brown bag lunches, right? You sit down and eat with who? The faculty. But in public schools, in most places throughout the country, you have to have a duty-free lunch, which means that I, as a principal, cannot ask the teacher to do anything at all during that time. Not one thing. Nothing that has anything to do with children. Nothing. In fact, and if you talk to many teachers who've been in the system for a while, they will tell you, especially the new ones, they will tell you that they, in the beginning, were eating lunch with their kids. And then someone came up to them and said, you can't do that. And the someone was another teacher. And when they continued to do it, the other teachers grieved them. They filed a grievance against the other teacher for eating lunch with the children. This teacher who pays the same dues into the same organization, same billion-dollar organization, American Federation of Teachers, National Education Association, two of the biggest teachers unions, the two big teacher unions in the United States, are billion-dollar organizations. They're not playing. Billion with a B. You talk about the NRA, they ain't got nothing on them. Nothing. They have the whole summer to put together political campaigns, and they do it big. And they win virtually all the time because the truth is not out. These same people then take what they have and tell other teachers that they should not do things that are not within their contract. Well, there's a lot that's not in their contract. In Hartford, how long do you think a teacher has to stay after school? As long as they want? An hour? That makes sense, right? You get kids, you figure you're just teaching them all day. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's what the contract says. 10 minutes before school and 10 minutes after school. That's it. 10 minutes. If you've ever taught anybody how to do anything, you can't get ready in 10 minutes. You can't even put your paperwork together in 10 minutes. True educators get to school an hour or two before school. Just to settle in. So in this school, these people who have already proven that they cannot do the job and will not do the job, then get the children out there and play on their emotions and the parents and make them think that if they don't keep these particular teachers, they ain't getting teachers. They're not going to have a school. The truth is they don't have a school as it is. The 97% fail rate, they don't have a school. They have a building. Not very different than other buildings except for the fact that this was called a school, but in many cases for many people it's just a precursor to where they're going to be, which is prison. See, because the less education you have, the more likely you are to go to prison. And when smart people like you begin to understand that our children are being put into this situation over and over and over again, see, because you think that's just Central Falls, but I guarantee you, it's every single major city. Every single one of them has schools just like that. There are schools in Hartford in which no children at all have passed the state's examinations. None. Not one. And everybody in the school stays employed. In fact, the building that we are taking over was closed. But every single teacher who was employed by the school is still employed by the district. The principal who failed that school is still a principal in the district. What do you got to do to lose a job? What you have to do is you have to begin to inform the people. You smart people have to begin to say, well, how can I participate in this? Those schools, those charter schools that you find locally, I guarantee you they have gaudy statistics. I guarantee you. I guarantee you that they shame those other schools. All they do is what they would receive at a private school. They have an advisory component. They have a longer school day. They have longer classes. It's all the same. Successful schools are all the same. They all have the same basic components. We know how to run a successful school. However, those components of a successful school do not fit into a traditional teacher's contract. In fact, they're all outside of it. Why are you home during the summer? It's an agrarian calendar. You are being sent to school on a calendar that's almost 200 years out of touch. 200 years. We've had the Industrial Revolution, we've had the information age, now we're in a whole different age, and we're still sending kids home for 2.5 months, even though the research is very clear that says, especially for students of color and students from historically disadvantaged populations, that in fact, they lose as much as 2 to 3 months worth of information over that same period of time. So therefore, you take an 8-month school year and you reduce it to 5 months, and then you put breaks every 3 weeks, and you expect these kids to catch up? Are you really? Seriously? Of course not. The only way we can accept these conditions is if we believe that this particular group does not deserve to succeed. That's the only reason you can accept it, and that's the only reason that people get away with it, is because ultimately what's being said is there's an achievement gap because they don't know any better. Back to our thought about if you as a parent were to decide to leave your children home for 2 weeks, even if you were homeschooling, they're going to put you through hell to make sure that you're really doing it. Fail to send one child to school, it's a crime. 900, it's an achievement gap. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, things are only getting worse. I wish I could tell you differently. But there's an entire group of young people who are coming, who are going to these schools that have not been successful for 20 or 30 years. They come from 2 and 3 generations of failed people who failed in academia. And they've become recalcitrant. Those are the people that you will share your country, your community with. Those are the people that you will take care of one way or another. If you don't get in the game now and find a way to do something to make their lives better right this minute, then I promise you, you will pay later. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You have been blessed with significant intellectual capacities. But what good is it if you keep it to yourself? Some of y'all know how to teach very complicated topics. Some of y'all know how to spend time, and you can relate to some of these young people. You can create a dialogue, just you being there, just you being humble enough to come into their school and say hello to them and possibly listen to them will inspire their lives. Many of us do what we do today because somebody in a school told us we could do it, or told us we couldn't. But in either case, we are often in places such as these because we believe in ourselves because somebody else believed in us first. Those kids need you to believe in them right this minute. Not believe in them from afar, but believe in them up close. They want you to experience the love that they have for you. They don't have much to give you. They don't have much to give you except for everything that they have. What they have to give you will make you feel like you are the wealthiest person on earth. When you bask in the love that they have for you coming down and spending time with them, you will feel like you have it all.